This absolutely hurts my heart to do, but so this is. I just got this. This just popped up. It's 8:06 on March 24th, 2025. This just came up on my news feed. And I spent 4 months at Maplehurst. Ended up in a situation where I spent 4 months waiting on a trial date. Finally got a trial date. Lawyer came, said, "Hey, we have a trial, but you'll be sitting for 9 more months on top of the 4 you already served. Or you plead guilty to this charge and you can get released today." Now, because of the conditions in the jail, I took the guilty plea. Even though I didn't do it, I took the guilty plea. And it's fucked up. You shouldn't be forced in a position like that, either to go back to an overcrowded cell where you're in danger, or plead guilty to something you didn't do. I think most people would take the guilty plea, sadly, and I think most people do. Anyways, let's read through it, because I'd like to clarify some of these things, because I went through a lot of this myself. It says, Ontario jails are deadlier than ever, and this one is the worst in every respect. And it is. I'm not going to read the whole thing word for word, but I'm just going to touch on a few things. It says, crammed cells, constant lockdowns, collective punishments, now a disease outbreak that has killed 2 inmates. This is life at Milton, Maplehurst Correctional Complex, Ontario's most overcrowded jail. Yep. This breaks my heart to read. So 12 out of the 46 deaths in Ontario jails were at Maplehurst last year. So it says, and it highlights, it got sectioned here. It's like the worst in every respect, big letters, and then read through. So even accounting for Maplehurst's large population, it is one of 4 super jails in the province with more than 1,000 inmates. The percentage of inmates who died there last year based on December occupancy data is twice the provincial average. I wish I could say it was surprising, said Alison Craig, a criminal defense lawyer who regularly has clients at Maplehurst. Well, jail conditions have deteriorated across the province, she said. Maplehurst is the worst in every respect. She's right. For years, judges have decried the conditions at Maplehurst, which have been described as inhumane, unhygienic, and intolerable. But most observers say things have only gotten worse. Those are all very true. In addition, inmates being routinely triple bunked. Yep. So one person sleeping by the toilet. There's nowhere else to put them. Triple bunked in cells meant for 2 and regularly locked down for entire days due to staff shortages. Yep. That's fucked up. That's so fucked up they can use that excuse. Staff shortages. When they hire every goddamn fucking foreigner they can, don't give them staff shortages. Inmates have also recently testified about black mold in their cells. 100%. 100%. Not even to mention the ants and fucking silverfish and constant insects. Stained sheets, yeah, that's kind of whatever, but yeah, stained sheets for sure. Clothing, everything was stained, are you kidding? And a lack of shower access, yeah. We went, I think, 5 days without a shower when I was in there for 4 months. Locked down, 5 days straight. Fuck you, deal with it. It's supposed to be let out every day, at least, or I think every 3 days or something. We went far past that. Inadequate medical care comes up repeatedly. Oh my god, that brings up a memory. There's a guy, holy shit, some guy was in there for fraud. He went to shower and he had, I'm not kidding, he had a rash from probably here to up here, and it was like that wide all the way down on both, and it was from the deodorant he was using, and he wasn't seen. He went like that for weeks. All the inmates were like, yo, say something, and he did, and they just, yeah, okay, cool. Like, they didn't give a fuck. It's insane. So anyways, then it's we're crisis behind bars. As Premier Doug Ford, the federal conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, tout bail reform policies that would see more people incarcerated, Ontario's jails are deadlier and arguably more dysfunctional than they ever have been. Now, I would argue for Pierre Poilievre's tout for bail reform policies, and I'm big on accountability. So if you commit crimes, I'm not saying jail's the best place for people, but accountability is important, and that has to be addressed. If you're going to be jailing more people, you need to build more humane and proper jails and hire competent people. Jail's full of incompetent retards that would fail at McDonald's, quite frankly. Nurses who don't give a fuck. Doctors who don't give a fuck. Doctors, fuck. Okay. I had my leg broken, right? It was because of a guard. It was by an inmate, but it was because of a guard. I don't blame the inmate at all. I blame the guard 100%. But when it happened, I went down to the nurse, saw, I think it was the head nurse, whatever, right? Say my leg's broken. She goes, oh, no, it's not broken. She goes, move it. Move your leg. So I try to, right? Of course, my leg's not moving because it's broken. I'm like, okay, I'm trying. Like, it's not moving. It's broken. And she's like, no, you just need a few Tylenol. And I'm just like, I'm looking at it. I'm just like, are you insane? Like, I can't verify it's broken, but in my heart, I know it's broken. I've never broken a bone before, but you can tell when your fucking bone's broken. You know. I'm telling her, I was like, no, it's fucking broken. She goes, no, have a few Tylenol, you'll be good, right? And I'm just like, where the fuck am I? Like, so I'm screaming in pain. I get wheeled back to my cell. My cellmate's just like, yo, your leg's definitely broken. I'm just like, yeah, I know. Couldn't stand, couldn't move. Like, it was fucking ridiculous, right? So all night he's telling the guards, yo, this guy's leg's broken. Get him help, get him help, get him help. The guards are like, yeah, I'm just literally doing this as they walk by the cell. Till morning, there's a nurse there to do everyone's. It was COVID, so there's nurses there to do everyone's fucking checks or whatever. I go out, the nurse is like, holy shit, your leg's broken. Because I had to get wheelchaired out, I couldn't walk, obviously. She took one look at my leg, she goes, holy shit, your leg's broken. She goes, take this guy to the hospital. Boom, go to the hospital. Doctor's like, yeah, your leg's broken. No shit. No fucking shit. And I saw that nurse later, the head nurse, and I was like, yo, you fucking piece of shit. I was like, you told me my leg wasn't broken when it was broken. You gave me a fucking couple Tylenol because you were afraid to risk your job, you said at the time. I was like, you're a fucking disgrace. And she just didn't give a shit. Whatever. You're behind yourself. I'd fuck yourself, right? That's their attitude. But anyways, continuing, sorry about that rant, chronically overcrowded and understaffed, the province's jails have recently been described by judges as disgraceful, inhumane, and unworthy of us as a society. Yeah, I pled guilty because of that shit. I should have my case revisited, in my mind, and so should a lot of other fucking people. Most of the inmates housed in these jails are awaiting trial, yes, and remain legally innocent. No shit. I had to plead guilty to something I didn't do because of that shit. 9 more months on top of the 4 I served to get a trial. You fucking kidding me? Living in those conditions? How many guilty convictions do they have because of that shit? You could never tell. You could never fucking tell. But I guarantee it's fucking 90-something percentage for sure. Crooked as fuck. Ongoing Toronto Star investigation looks at what's wrong in Ontario's jails and what needs to be done to fix it. Overflowing toilets, insufficient toilet paper. Yep, that happened many times as well. A former Maplehurst inmate named Ezekiel Vincent wrote in a sworn affidavit that his cell's toilet clogged on several occasions. So did ours. And so did many other people's. Absolutely. And it took days to be fixed. Yes. And when we were lucky enough, we got out to use the on-range washroom. They were good enough to do that. But yeah, same thing. Sometimes you have to hold it and go for fucking hours and hours longer than you'd like to because they weren't unlocking the door until a certain time. And you just had to eat it. And, of course, the guys would pee in the toilet. Even though it couldn't flush, he'd still pee in the toilet and cover it. Right? Still inhumane as fuck. But, That's crazy. So reading here, it's like, we never had to do this, but came fucking close. Several occasions and took days to be fixed. When this happened, Ezekiel wrote, "We have had to defecate into noodle cups," and I believe that 100%. Vincent wrote that sometimes they ran out of toilet paper and would tear clothing or use their hands to wipe. We ripped, I wouldn't say clothing, but sheets, absolutely, yep. He also said he suffered from itchy rashes during this time at jail. Yeah, like I said, the guy, I told you about the fucking thing, absolutely. The deodorant causes that shit, and obviously the hygienic conditions, which he attributed to not being able to shower regularly. There you go, right? The lack of hygiene on a day-to-day basis has been very difficult mentally, physically, and emotionally, he wrote. Of course. Vincent was not cross-examined on his allegations, and the judge declined to make factual findings about them. Wow. Except to say that Vincent was subject to harsh conditions. Oh, he didn't want to specify, didn't he? That's a little corrupt, I think, at the jail. That's crazy. How would the judge, like, come on, that's fucked up. What a piece of shit judge. Including extensive lockdowns. He reduced Vincent's sentence by a year. Yeah, okay, cool. Wow. That judge, whoever that judge is a piece of shit. Ontario's Ministry of the Solicitor General, which is responsible for provincial jails, did not directly respond to a detailed list of questions for the story. Well, of course not. How convenient. Solicitor General Michael Kersner declined to be interviewed. Oh, yeah, of course. Don't want to face the hard questions, do you? But a spokesman issued a short statement blaming previous Liberal governments. Oh, what a cop-out. Which have been out of office since 2018. Yeah, no shit. Fuck, that's so stupid. Our message to repeat and violent criminals is clear. We have room for you in our jails, said Chelsea McGee Kersner, Director of Communications. But you don't. You don't. Obviously you don't. Roughly 3/4 of inmates in Ontario jails are awaiting trial and have not been convicted. Had to plead guilty because of that shit. That's how fucked up it is. How many people are wrongly convicted because of the fucking inhumane conditions and violence and guards not giving a fuck about your safety. Okay, sorry, continuing. Outbreak of dangerous disease has killed 2 inmates. Wow. The latest crisis at Maplehurst is an outbreak of an invasive group of streptococcal disease, which has killed 2 inmates. The outbreak has led to even more lockdowns. Yeah, wow. It breaks my heart at the time at the jail than usual, as inmates on the affected units have been confined to their cells for days at a time while their families have been left largely in the dark. Wow. I know a guy right now that's in there. I can just imagine what he's going through. Yeah, I hope his family reads this article. That's fucked up, man. Like, how? That's wrong. That's wrong in every aspect, and there's no way we should allow it. Marnie Ritchie, the mother of a Maplehurst inmate, said when she heard on social media about the outbreak and the deaths, she felt panicked. No kidding. Your first thought is it my family member? Yeah, that's fucked. That's so fucked. Wow. My heart bleeds for these people. The jail wasn't providing any information, she said, and her son wasn't able to call her for days because of the lockdowns. I feel that. That fucking hurts. He has since been transferred to another jail because of the outbreak. Ritchie said her son, who the Star agreed not to name because Ritchie feared he could face retribution. Bro. How is this okay? How the fuck is this okay? Had been at Maplehurst for nearly 4 months prior to his transfer. He spent all that time triple bunked, sleeping on the floor of his cell with his head by the toilet, she said. Yeah? Yeah, everyone does, man. I don't care if you're big, small, new, In there a while, everyone takes your turn. That's fucked up, man. I'm literally... Sorry. I gotta take a break. That's so fucked. That pisses me off. I know it's not a hotel, Richie said. I know they're there for a reason, but we're also not in a third world country. Richie said her son is addicted to fentanyl and was not coping well with the constant lockdowns. I'm just really concerned about his mental health. Detailed information on the causes of the deaths that occurred last year has not been disclosed, but a coroner report looking at provincial jail deaths from 2014 to 2021 found that nearly two-thirds were due to drug overdose and suicides. Among the report's findings were the capacity limitations within jails sit at the core of the unsafe and unhealthy conditions that must be improved considerably if further deaths and serious harms are to be prevented. Bro, I didn't think this is going to be this fucking bad. Alright. Crammed cells and constant lockdowns. Nearly every jail in the province is overcrowded. The system as a whole was 22% over capacity in December, according to occupancy data obtained by the Star via a Freedom of Information request. Maplehurst was 45% over capacity, meaning there were 430 more inmates than the jail was built to hold. As a result, most inmates are triple bunked. Let me talk to that for a second, because that's exactly right. Most inmates are triple bunked. Every cell's got 3 people in them. But, like my buddy in there right now, there are the odd stubborn person that refuses to be put with 2 other dudes. And so what happens there, right? So you got one stubborn guy in there, and he doesn't want any inmates in the cell with him. But the guards throw people in there anyways. So what happens, those 2 people, they get beat up. And then they have to bang and get pulled out, right? And the guy says, again, and this happened in my range, the guy beat up, he'd have 2 people in, boom, 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 2 people out. He'd say, don't fucking bring anyone else in. They'd bring 2 more people in, he'd punch them out, 2 more people leave. That was like a constant thing. And it was like, but eventually they fucking left him alone and gave him his cell to himself. Or with someone of his choosing, right? But it's like, Jesus Christ, man. Some people just refuse, and someone ends up paying the price for that. You've got somebody basically sitting on your lap the whole time. This is continuing, sorry. Maplehurst inmate Claude Simon recently testified in court. He had been triple bunked for more than half of the 15 months he spent in jail awaiting trial. Fuck, man. He's got more balls than me to sit that long for trial. Simon had also been locked down 179 times, equal to about 40% of his days in Maplehurst. Yeah, we were locked down for like a week. I think 10, 12 days was like our top, like in a row, lockdown. Just because COVID. They'd say COVID. Not right. During lockdowns, which occur almost daily and are usually due to staff shortages, inmates are confined to their cells. All visits are cancelled. Yep, and there's no access to phones or programming. Yep, you're just left there to rot. They're treated worse than caged animals, said Craig. Caged animals get out and get to wander around once in a while. People in Maplehurst generally don't. No, and range for or they call it a yard. Forget yard. Forget fucking yard. That doesn't even fucking exist. Brian Adams, Brian Adams. Is that the Brian Adams I know? A former Maplehurst inmate who has spent time at several jails across the province. Probably is the Brian Adams I know. Said Maplehurst is by far the worst. It's the worst for lockdowns, for food, for guards, for everything. Yep. I wonder if that's Brian Adams from Burlington. Maplehurst has also come under fire in recent months for an incident that occurred in December 2023 when correctional officers in full riot gear carried out an alleged act of collective punishment against an entire unit of the jail after a guard was assaulted by an inmate. Yeah, that's real shit, man. You know what? I'm gonna have to tell you what happened to me when I was in there because of what happened to my leg. Because just reading that, they're vindictive. So again, I was new to Maplehurst. I'd never been in trouble a day in my life. I shouldn't even have been arrested. I was wrongly in jail. So anyways, I had complained. I complained to get out a guard because he was just mouthy. He's calling me a piece of shit for no reason, right? Just because he didn't like my attitude. So, I not knowing any better, obviously at the time, I made a complaint against him. I said, this guard's fucking mouthy and basically can call me names for no reason. Like, fuck this dude. So, long story short, I'm sitting in my cell, and some big black guard comes to my cell, and he's just like, yo, you remember me? I'm looking at him, just like, no. And he's like, you made a complaint against me. And as soon as he says that, I'm like, oh, the fucking person got these two black guys mixed up, because the one black guy I made a complaint against was a big fat black guy, and the big black guy that came and said, yo, you remember me, was like a big, tall beast of a man black guy. So I knew the head sergeant fucked up by disciplining the wrong guy. Anyways, he's like, yo, you remember me? I was like, no. He's like, yeah, you made a complaint against me. And I'm like, obviously, no. I was like, it's the wrong guy, right? She obviously disciplined. He's like, well, I don't care. He goes, I'm in trouble, so now you're in trouble. And he looks at the whole range, and he goes, as long as this guy's on range, he goes, everyone's locked down, there's going to be trouble for everybody. Yikes, right? Now, luckily, the guys were good on that range. They came to me, and they're just like, yo, go. It's like, we don't want to fucking, like, go or get beat up, right? That was my options. So I was like, no problem, man. I'm not going to stay somewhere I ain't wanted, right? That's how I felt about it. So I'm like, yeah, no problem, I'll leave. So I left, and I went to some new range, and I get in the new range, and I go on to my new cell, and me and Buddy are shooting shit, seem to be getting along just fine. And in comes the guard, the big black guard that just told me there was going to be trouble on the other range. And he comes in by himself, right? Comes right up to the cell, and he says same shit. He goes, yo, as long as this guy's on the fucking range, he goes, there's going to be trouble for everybody, blah, blah. And as soon as he turns his back, the inmate that I was just shooting shit with, and this is why I don't blame the inmate, because he was basically forced to do what he had to do, right? The guard's like, yo, if this guy's here, there's going to be trouble for everyone. Right away, guard starts walking away. Inmate turns around, pop, 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 pop. I got beat up for it, right? It is what it is. I don't blame the inmate. If he sees this, I don't blame you, bro. I really don't. I do blame the guard, however. But yeah, vindictive shit happens. They will, if they don't like you, they will fuck your day up and get away with it. Anyways, continuing on, the actions taken by the jail's Institutional Crisis Intervention Team, ICIT, involved nearly 200 inmates being strip-searched, zip-tied, wow, and left in their underwear for hours while cold air was blown into the unit. Dozens of criminal cases have been affected as a result, as inmates seek to have their charges stayed or sentences reduced on the grounds that their charter rights were violated. Yeah. Or plead guilty because their fucking charter rights were violated. How about that, too? The fuck? Lawyers for the province have since conceded the actions taken by the ICIT team were unreasonable, disproportionate to the threat posed, and contrary to ministry policy. Duh. Lindsay Jennings, a prisoner's advocate, and a member of the chief coroner's expert panel on deaths in custody, said Maplehurst's death toll and its other recent controversies should compel provincial authorities to take action. The deaths, the ICIT situation, now we have an outbreak. At what point does somebody step in? It's reasonable. Alright, that's the whole article. But yeah, that's that's accurate. And there's more to that. Like, there's way more to that. But that's accurate, 100%. What else can I touch on just off the top of my head? Sanitary conditions, overcrowdedness, violence from the fucking guards. The inmates are good. Unless the guards fucking force their hand, which they do a lot, actually. There was a situation in our range, it was actually another guy from Burlington, who was being kind of abrasive with the guards, and what did the guards say exactly? He said to the range when they pull you all out, and then you're all standing on the wall before they put you back in. The guy was on the phone too long or something. The guards came in on the wall, and the guy's still on the phone, and he took his time walking to the wall. And that was enough for the guards to say, take care of this guy, or everyone's going to be locked down to the range. Like, basically telling the range, take care of this guy. We know what that means, right? And they can say that, and the inmates feel justified to do that because the guards aren't going to do anything. So when the inmates jump this guy, and the guards watch it, the guards go, yeah, fuck you, bud. And they just go, yeah. Basically tip their hat. Fucking peace. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. It's so wrong, man. And I hate to get emotional, but I feel for that family member, man. That when that mom talks about her son, yeah. My mom came to visit me. In fact, she had to go through fucking screening and everything else just to get in a fucking another room with a glass wall between us, and we talk through a phone. And I get it. If I was there because I did something wrong, fair enough, man. I'm all for accountability. Fair enough. But I didn't. I did nothing wrong. I have video. I did nothing wrong. The incident is fucking ridiculous. The people lied to the courts. They lied. The witnesses lied to police. They lied to the courts. They lied throughout the whole fucking process. And yet I spent time in jail and had my leg broken because these fucking people aren't man enough to just be honest and own up to their own shit. Like, justice isn't coming. I'll tell you that much. But, anyways, yeah. It's fucked up. Trickle-down effect, 100%. Everybody loses.